Cloak and Dagger? Why don't I just get through telling you?
Dad, this is important.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be doing unboxing and review of Cloak and Dagger from Vinegar Syndrome. So this is my first Vinegar Syndrome order, and I thought it was pretty interesting the way they packaged everything. So I actually just wanted to show you guys how it would come in the mail. So you get your box. They have their own little tape, which is pretty cool. Open it up, and they take a lot of care and pride into their packaging. So once you get it out of the box, they have it wrapped up in this cardboard paper, and then even beyond that is in some bubble wrap. So they really took care of this because they know that you're spending a lot of money on these products. So this is Cloak and Dagger from Vinegar Syndrome on 4K. Now, this is my first time watching this movie, so a lot of the art on here I didn't really understand, but I watched the movie and I just put it back in the box for you guys so I can unbox it for you. But now it makes sense, and the artwork is really cool. And the box is kind of like how Arrow Video does with their hard cardboard. And this is actually, I would say this is a step above Arrow Video, because so the graphics has like a laminated feel to it, and the quality on this is by far the best I've seen in a Blu-ray release or a 4K release from a boutique label. I love Arrow Video, but I think this is just one step ahead. And it even has a little magnetic flap to keep it shut, which is incredible. So if you're familiar with the movie Cloak and Dagger, which I am now, it's all about a Atari game. So they went ahead and they put a Atari slipcover over the disc, over the case. But we're going to come right back to that, because I wanted to show you the little book that comes inside. So this is the rest of the case once everything's open, game over, and that's the back of it. And this is a beautiful piece. It's heavy, you know. It's going to stand the test of time, I think, if you take care of it on your shelf. But it has a nice little book that Arrow Video usually does, so this is not too foreign, but it's just nice to be included. And this has close to 40 pages in this book, and I don't want to open it up all the way and crease it, but it looks like it has just so much stuff to read, and there's so many different pictures and stuff in here. For a fan of the movie and a collector, I think this is a beautiful piece. So I'm going to put that back in the box. It's got the little ribbon in there so you can pull it out. You don't have to jam your finger in there and try to get everything out of there, which is appreciated. So back to the slipcover. So the slipcover looks like a Atari 4000. I'm not too familiar with Atari. I've never heard of the Atari 4000. I know there's the 2600 and the 5200. I'm not sure about the 4000. It's possible, but I'm not entirely sure. And it even has like a little sticker on it, $9.97, and it says Vinegar Syndrome on it. Like, you can't peel it off. It's part of the print on there, but it's really cool. And then you get your basic information on the back. So 11 skill levels is your special features. So I'll read the following. It's got top secret government documents included. I believe that is the booklet that they're giving you. All the challenge of the arcade original. Amazing suspense and electrifying gameplay. So these are all the special features that are on the disc itself. I didn't dig too deep into that. I just finished the movie. And then the movie is starring Henry Thomas, Dabney Coleman, and Michael Murphy, directed by Richard Franklin. So this is a nice, even having the information on there, and it's just, again, even the slipcover is high quality. And Universal's name is all over this, so I guess they had something to do with this when they partnered with Vinegar Syndrome. Take the slipcover off, you have your 4K box, and then you have your synopsis in there, your runtime, your audio, your aspect ratios, all that stuff, all the information we like on the back. And then you have your Blu-ray and your 4K in there. So this is a 2-disc set. It's definitely worth the money, I have to admit. You know, this was the first time I watched it, and just seeing this, because I saw somebody else unbox this, and I was like, wow, this looks awesome. And it is a limited release. They just replenished on vinegarsyndrome.com, and that's where I grabbed it. And they shipped from Connecticut. I got it in like 2 days because I live in New York. But this is definitely one of the nicer pieces in my collection. That is the unboxing portion of this video. Now we will talk about the movie itself. So again, this is the first time I've watched this movie. It's directed by Richard Franklin. It came out in 1984 and it has a 101-minute feature runtime. So it's, you get in and out. It's not an incredibly long movie. And I appreciate that the runtime, there was some sections where it's like, okay. The main thing that stuck out to me was it stars Henry Thomas, who is the kid from E.T., and I absolutely love E.T., so that was a big thing for me going into this. I was like, alright, I've never really seen him in anything else, at least as a child actor, that I can remember or that I've seen. So I was looking forward to that. And I enjoyed the movie. It was good. I liked it a lot. If I had to compare it to something, I would compare it to The Goonies or maybe E.T. a little bit. More The Goonies, where the kid's on an adventure. I mean, E.T. was kind of like that too, where the parents didn't believe them. They had the alien and all that stuff, and they're sneaking around, and it was a kid's adventure movie. I feel like if I would have saw this as a child, I would have appreciated it more. And I don't really have nostalgia for this movie because I've never seen it before. However, I still enjoyed my time with it. It was a good movie. The kid that Henry Thomas plays, his name is Davy, and he is super into spies and espionage and that type of games and board games, and he loves spy missions and stuff like that. So he's got a friend that works in a video game store, and they're always playing this game called Cloak and Dagger. So it was a real game in the universe. It's not actually a real game here. There was a arcade release back in 1984 when this movie came out, but it was just an arcade cabinet, which I believe they said that it cloned it, or not cloned it, they just reprogrammed some Robotron cabinets, and that's how they got Cloak and Dagger. Henry Thomas's character, Davy, is, I wouldn't say co-star because she is definitely not on the screen as much, but Christina Nigra plays Kim Gardner, and that is his partner in crime, basically. So these two kids hang out at video game store in the mall, and they're buddy-buddy with the guy who runs it, and they're playing the game in the back, and they're playing almost like a Dungeons and Dragons, but instead of fantasy, it's spies and espionage. So Davy has a very wild imagination, and he has an imaginary friend called Jack Flack, and that is his call name when he uses the radio, and this is who he wants to be. This is his character when they play the Dungeons and Dragons game, and again, he's living his life in his mind, thinking he's a spy. Just going to the refrigerator is a mission to him. And, I mean, as a kid, I had the same imagination. So the owner of the video game store tasks him with the mission of going to a video game store across town and getting Twinkies out of their vending machine. So while they were there, they see these strange people with guns that went up to the top floor where the video games studio was. So while they're in the video game place getting the Twinkies, they witnessed this guy get beat up through a window across the way, and that was in the video game studio. So they went and followed them. They ended up having a Cloak and Dagger cartridge. So he's like, oh, what's going on with that? So now he was on a real mission. His imaginary friend, Jack Flack, pops in and out here and there and gives him pointers and stuff like that, so he knows like what to do, and he's kind of guiding him along the way. But later in the movie, that changes. But so he and the girl are following these people with the game, and they end up getting their hands on it. And now the rest of the movie is them trying to figure out what to do with this game while avoiding being captured. The enemy was basically smuggling secret plans in these Atari cartridges. Davey wanted to save the day, save the world. So that's pretty much the premise of the movie, and it has its ups and downs, and it's a good ride. I really enjoyed my watch. Like I said, if I watched this as a kid, I would have enjoyed this a lot more. I think I would have been able to relate to the kid a little bit more. But I have to say, he lived every kid's dream. He went on a real mission. He actually used a real gun and killed one of the guys that was after him. And it was really cool to see, you know, and especially because I've never seen Henry Thomas in anything else besides E.T. that I can think of, at least. And I really enjoyed my time with it. I think I like this better than The Goonies. I know that's like, The Goonies is like some people's favorite movie ever. Again, I didn't watch The Goonies really as a kid, so I'm not too nostalgic for that movie either. But I think I kind of related to this one a little bit more, and I enjoyed this one a little bit more. I like The Goonies. It's a good movie. It's not bad by any stretch of the imagination, but I think I enjoy this a little bit more. One thing I wanted to point out, I noticed while watching the movie, his imaginary friend, Jack Flack, looks a lot like his father. Now, his father is in the Air Force, and he's a sergeant in the Air Force, but his dad is not into the games, and he's always telling him to go to bed, and, you know, tough love. You know, and he never believed Davy when he was telling him these stories, because I guess it was like the boy cried wolf, you know, he was always into the missions and stuff like that, and playing spy and mercenary and all that. So his dad was just like, alright, whatever, it's just another bullshit story, and he didn't believe him. And, you know, you see that a lot in movies. By the end of the movie, you figure out that his imaginary friend, because it's the same actor that plays Jack Flack and his father, so at the end of the movie, you kind of figure out that it was really his dad was his hero the whole time. He made his dad cooler, I guess. Instead of being in the Air Force, he made him a spy. And I thought that was pretty cool, because at the end of the movie, his father ends up saving him, and the plane explodes, and he said, I don't need Jack Flack anymore, and that's how the movie ends, credits. And it was really cool, you know, I actually thought his father was going to die, but it looked like he survived. I was waiting for him to vanish, just like Jack Flack comes in and out, and he kind of like vanishes and disappears. I thought that's what they were going to do with it. No, it looks like that he ended up living, and he saved the day, you know, and it was really cool. It had a good ending, it was a great movie, it's definitely worth the watch. Can I recommend you picking up the Cloak and Dagger set from Vinegar Syndrome? If you like the movie and you're a big-time collector, then absolutely, because for $43, it's like, it's kind of a lot for a 4K. What you get here is incredible. So, let me tell you about the 4K itself. So, again, this movie is from 1984, it was filmed on film, but Vinegar Syndrome did a pretty good job with their scan. It is a full screen, so there's no bars on the top and bottom, which I appreciate. I love when we use the entire real estate of the TVs that we have. As far as audio goes, I want to go to audio first. It has a DTS HD Master Audio stereo. So there's no 5.1, there's no 7.1, there's no Dolby Atmos, any of that. It's a very basic soundtrack, but my player upscales a little bit, so I had some stuff coming out of my rear speakers. It wasn't terrible, but, you know, again, just keep that in mind. Don't expect a 2022 Dolby Atmos soundtrack with this. But it did the job. It sounded fine. At no point was like, oh, this sounds like shit. It sounded perfect. It sounded absolutely fine. As far as the 4K goes, this supports HDR. Does not have Dolby Vision or HDR 10 Plus or any of that. Just basic HDR. But it works. It looks fine. You know, there's not too many dark scenes in the movie where the HDR really needed to work. But it looked fine. The film was very grainy, but it kind of adds to that 1984, that nostalgic feeling that we like when we watch these old movies. So I don't think it was too grainy, and I think if they took a lot of the grain out, it wouldn't have worked. A lot of these, it looks like this movie took place in Texas, so there's some nice scenes where you see some green bushes and trees, and then they're on a riverboat ride, so the water looks nice. You know, it looked good. There was no point where I thought this movie looked bad. I think Vinegar Syndrome did a fantastic job with this disc. And if you're a fan of the movie, I think this is probably the best way, or the best you'll ever see the movie look. Can I recommend going out and grabbing this? I mean, if you're a huge fan or a huge collector, then yes, I would say go pick this up. It is a limited release from Vinegar Syndrome. This is not the last thing I'm going to get from Vinegar Syndrome, just because I absolutely love their packaging. I love what they do with these, and they put so much time and effort into these, and they did a fantastic job with the scan and the audio. This is the total package. If you are even remotely interested in this type of movie, check it out. It's definitely worth it. And if not, these things are going on eBay for a lot of money, actually, like almost double. So if you don't like it, you can end up selling it. You will not lose your money on this one, especially on limited collector's editions like this. So in closing, I would give the movie maybe a 7.5. You know, I'm not nostalgic for it, but it was a good movie. I still felt something. I enjoyed it. It had a good plot. It moved at a pretty good pace. And then just the packaging alone would make this a 10. But, you know, it's... Again, I bought it for the packaging alone. I said if the movie's okay, then it's a win. And the movie was more than okay. It was good. It was great. I mean, you know, as some people who grew up with this probably absolutely love this movie. This is probably somebody's E.T. Like E.T. was something I took from my childhood that I absolutely love. This is probably somebody else's E.T. But that's going to about do it for today. If you guys like this video, please give it a like, because that's the best way to help us out. And if you want to help us out further, consider subscribing, because we do videos like this all the time. But until next time, guys, have a great day.
Hey guys, thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed Matt's review and unboxing of Cloak and Dagger. I gotta admit, that's a pretty cool set, and I'm pretty jealous that I didn't actually buy it. But it's Monday, and that means it's time for the digital code giveaway. Just like the last few weeks, we're gonna have 2 winners. We have a ton of contestants this week, and I really love the answers to this week's digital code giveaway questions, which were, what is your favorite drama of the 90s, and what is your favorite comedy of the 90s? It gave us a wide variety of answers, although I did see a lot for the Shawshank Redemption and Good Will Hunting, and because you guys kept picking Good Will Hunting, I'm really in a mood to watch Good Will Hunting now, because that really is a sneaky fall movie. You know, it takes place in the Northeast. It looks like in the fall, you know, you get those amber colored leaves, and I'm just a huge fan of fall. I know Matt is. That's just a big thing on this channel, is we just love fall horror movies. We just love that tone of autumn. So I'm in the mood for Good Will Hunting. You guys put me in the mood for it. Now I have no choice but to watch it in the next couple weeks. And also a lot of great choices for comedy. Obviously the 90s were ruled by one of my personal heroes, Jim Carrey, so I got a lot of answers with The Mask, Ace Ventura, and my personal favorite of his, Dumb and Dumber. So it was really cool to see you guys all answer, and I'm really glad that you guys all entered into this week's digital code giveaway. And without further ado, let's spin this magic wheel and let's change 2 people's lives, and you get your choice of a digital code. First wheel spin, here we go. Alright, Al, I'm going to remove you from this one so you don't win again, and we're going to spin this wheel one more time. Ray Tossi. Alright, Alan Channing and Ray Tossi. You guys are the 2 winners of this week's digital code giveaway. And as always, you have your choice of the digital codes that we have available that you've seen on your screen either in Friday's video or this video. All you have to do is reach out to us on our Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Direct message us. Or as always, you can reach us on our email at letstalkentmt@gmail.com. Just let us know which digital code you would like. As long as the other winner doesn't take it, that code is yours. Just some quick updates on what we're doing here on the channel this week. We actually have a ton of brand new 4K Blu-ray reviews, not just Cloak and Dagger. We're going to have new 4K reviews for the new Friday the 13th 4K, Fatal Attraction, The Fog, which I'm very much looking forward to, Platoon, and Matt also got the 4K Steelbook for the Addams Family 4K that was released a year ago. So we have a lot of 4Ks coming to you, and we also have a brand new film review coming to you this weekend, The Woman King, which I'm very much looking forward to, starring Viola Davis. So we have a lot of new stuff coming to you. So we might not have some other videos. I don't know if we're going to be able to get to our original versus remake like we've been in the last few weeks. We do have one filmed. We have The Last House on the Left film, so we will get to that in the next week or 2. But this week, the name of the game is going to be new releases. So we're going to have plenty of new 4K releases for you guys. We hope you enjoy them. If there's anything you all want to see on the channel, please let us know. And if you guys are enjoying our Let's Talk Physical Media and you have any questions for us, we filmed that this Saturday, so please get your questions in for that by then. Anything you guys want to ask us, nothing is off the table at all. You could just ask us. Matt asked me last week if there was any way I could possibly look any less ugly, and unfortunately that's just not going to happen. And as always, guys, thank you for being a fan of Let's Talk. Please make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and tell all your friends.